All right, we're back with you discussing the book, I Am a Wife, Today's Wisdom for Single Women That Your Mother and Grandma Didn't Tell You About. And we're here with the author, Minister Carol Copeland. And, you know, just judging by the way the conversation is going, we could actually spend the rest of the day, the rest of the evening discussing this book because it is such, so powerful. There's a lot of profound material in this book.
Was talking about, yes, can I get your phone number? Can I get your phone number? I was like, okay, well, why? And I think women today, we need to ask questions. Why do you want my phone number? Mm-hmm. It's okay right there to stop and say, why do you want this? Is this important to you? Well, he said, well, I, want to be your friend. Maybe we can go out on a date, and this, then I'm like, okay, that sounds nice, but when God had already touched my mind and said, ask him this, how many friends, female friends like this are you going out on dates with and having dinner with? Because that's going to be important, right? Mm-hmm. Because I knew who I was, right? I'm not interested in selling myself short. I know who I am because God already taught me, and I'm not interested in getting in a lineup of women that you're out there having dinner with, dating, right? Because I was waiting for my husband. Mm-hmm. I wasn't waiting for a food date. I'm not a foodie. I knew exactly what I wanted, and God has said, I'm going to give it to you, but you got to make some right choices. So that right there was a choice for me. So I asked him, I said, well, how many women are you in the lineup dating like this? And he laughed, and he wasn't ready for that, right? He laughed and he said, and I said, thank you, but no thank you. I because I am not selling myself short anymore. I've already been there, done that. God's already given me wisdom, and so I'm waiting for my husband. Thank you.
I see you're into throwing the curveball.
Yes, and that's what women have to be comfortable doing. When you are serious about what you are after, what God has said is yours, then you wait for God. It doesn't matter. And he was nice looking, let me tell you, and he had it going on, had his own business. I'm not impressed by that, right? I've had all of that. When you're going to get what God has for you, you can't be blindsided by things. And I go into talking about that as well. So, you have to set boundaries while dating.
But, that's a big thing. I'm telling you why that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. I just recalled, it was last weekend, my wife and I watched a news special on a lady who says that she was, I think, like maybe 18 at the time. Mm-hmm. And she had met a guy. She had a child. She was a single mother,
right,
living at home with her grandmother. And she met a guy who, had the job. He had the house. He had the car, things that she were never used to because she lived in the projects in New York. Mm-hmm. And she started to date the guy. Then pretty much she moved in with him, and they were, living the life. Then he became abusive, really abusive. Then when she went back to her grandmother to tell her, her grandmother was like, give it a shot. Mm-hmm. Okay? So she went back because this is the only person in life that she trusted, her grandmother. Wow. And which is why when I read Today's Wisdom for Single Women That Your Mother and Grandma Didn't Tell You About, you are now really pushing the boundaries of some of the things that a lot of, not just women, but us have been taught about compromising, settling. Maybe it will get better. But your situation is as no, you need to get out of the situation because it's an uncomfortable situation. So in her case, she didn't want to be a single mother anymore, 18-year-old, no future, no career, living in the project, still living at home with her grandmother. This man presented something which she wanted, but it came with something else. You're now saying she would have, but she actually admitted that was the worst bit of advice she has ever gotten in her life. Because a long story short, she ended up being shot 10 times by this guy.
Wow. Lord, have mercy.
She was lucky to survive. And her story brought me to tears, I'll tell you right now.
That is...
So, you're saying this now is that you're actually pushing the boundaries on not compromising.
Right.
Which a lot of people, they just can't do because of, trying to balance that situation. So, I mean, what you said just now was very profound.
Yes.
And a lot of people will be sitting there and like, yeah, but, and be scratching their heads, which direction do I go?
Yeah. My leading in advice is go with God. You know, God has the best plan for you. You don't have to settle and sell yourself short. There's some things that you don't have to take, and you can find out your direction in prayer. See, that's why that relationship with God is so important. God bless the grandmothers, mothers, aunties, everybody. But sometimes we have received advice at different times where they weren't hearing from God. You can hear from God in prayer. In prayer to God about this situation, because that's not God's plan for us to sit by and be abused. And you know what? Let me tell you, I have been in an abusive relationships, before in my life. And what the enemy will try to do with that situation is turn your heart so stony and turn your heart so evil to where you become the abuser. So when you get a humble, nice guy the next time around, because you took it for 10 years or however long the young lady took it, now you have a stance and you're on the mountaintop saying, I will never be abused again. And anything that new man says, then you go into defense mode and, I've got to attack you before you attack me. And now you're the abuser. So that's a trick from the enemy. So we have to be wiser and, following the leading of the Lord in that area of our life.
Wow, very poignant there, Minister Carol Copeland. Hey, we're speaking about the new book by Minister Carol Copeland of Carol Copeland Ministries. I'm a Wife. Today's wisdom for single women that your mother and grandma didn't tell you about. And that's powerful stuff. But here's what. We're going to go for a break. When we come back, we'll have lots more on this one.
Pure Inspiration, FM 1037, AM 1320.